If you are thinking of a bank that takes care of customers' needs by providing quality services with flexibility, reliability, and innovation, think Trust Bank Limited. With Trust Bank Limited mobile banking, you enjoy services such as balance inquiry, mini statement, funds transfer between accounts, exchange rates, mobile airtime top-up, stop ATM card, checkbook request, and PIN change. Our real-time gross settlement allows the customer to instruct the bank to transfer funds from their account to another account at another bank. Our expertise and experience in international banking is both legendary and the envy of the market. Retail banking, one bank, different amazing packages. Whether you are interested in savings account, current account, time or fixed deposit account, lending or overdraft, our team of dedicated staff is always ready and willing to help you out with your transactions as you wish. Corporate banking. Trust Bank Limited offer the most convenient services for deposit accounts, credit facilities, trade finance, bond and guarantee, and foreign currency account. With e-banking, you can make electronic bill payments and online banking and enjoy 24-hour access to your cash with our ATM. With the largest network of branches and agents, we give you the convenience to receive funds as you please. Trust Bank Limited, proudly Gambian.
fay lempo warugal la ci képp koo xam ne doomi réew mi nga ak ñu fi dëkk bu fekkee ne ci at mi sa koom-koom weesu na $2,400 dalasi mbete weer bu nekk di nga am lu tollu ci $2,000 dalasi lempo si la nguur gi di sukkandiku ngir liggéey yokkute réew mi GRA mooy banxaas bu nguuri Gambia sas ngir mu fayeku lépp luy lempo ci biir réew mi ba tax na GRA di yëgal faykati lempo yi ne warugal la pour ñu fay lu ñu naan withholding tax on contract payment maanaam bépp contrat bu waay joxe te ci biir réew mi lañu toog kon xaalis ci contrat bi ngeen nangotoo war nga cee wàññi ci xayma téeméer bu nekk fukka bu fekkee ne contrat bi dëkkut ci biir réew mi bu boobaa di nga war a wàññi téeméer bu nekk fukka ak juróom lii mooy lempo bu ñu naan withholding tax on contract payment lii mooy lempo bi nga xam ne yow mi joxe contrat warugal la nga wëlbatiku dem fay ko ci maakaani GRA tax office bu la gën a jege mbete ci banque yi GRA jagleel pour fay lempo war ngaa jébal lempo bi si diiri fukki fan ak juróom gannaaw bi nga wàññee ci xaalis si contrat bi amul benn contracto bu ñu teggil fay lempo bi xanaa mu fekk ne nguuri Gambia ñoo ko jégale boole si projet yi nga xam ne mbootaay ndimbali ñoo koy dépense GRA di fayeku lempo ngir yokk.
For the first time in the history of the Gambia, Gambia Printing Publishing Corporation proudly introduces the Biliomatic exercise book printing machine. The machine has the capacity to print more than 20,000 books per hour. Yes, 20,000 books per hour. It also prints magazines, newspapers, calendars, flyers, normal books, and all kinds of printed documents, plus items at affordable prices. With the Biliomatic printing machine, GPPC can now render high quality and non-size restricted printing service supply across the sub-region. Rush now and partner with GPPC for all your public and private printing service needs. Print with us today and you'd be offered highly professional, reliable and efficient service delivery by our team of experts. The Gambia Printing and Publishing Corporation is here to meet all demands and is reliable at all times. For more info, contact us on 437-4493 or 437-4402. GPPC is Gambian and it's yours.
In communication, connectivity is everything. We ensure that the links never sleep. Quantities and qualities, all in our data service, providing efficient reliable voice, and data service. We believe if you're not up to speed, then you're going backwards. Communications have to flow as fast as the speed of light. Whatever business you're in, having someone who understands your needs is critical. That is why we just don't offer you technology, we offer you solutions. Enjoy Gamcel's internet broadband anytime, anywhere. Your national operator, Gamcel, Yaibara.
This is on Kerr Fatou. Fatou.
Hello and welcome to another edition of our show, and it's great to be back in the studios. Today I'm back in the studio. It feels normal to be in the studio. I don't know, there's one thing about just doing online programs on the internet compared to doing the studio. How does it feel to be not in the studio for almost 6 weeks, right?
Yeah, a bit strange.
Yeah.
On the one hand, but also normal on the other hand. I think when we started program online, it reminded me of my COVID days in the UK.
Yeah.
When lectures were all online, and then we had to wake up early in the morning and join the class, and also a lot of conferences that people had to use online instead of traveling in person. Yeah. But also it became strange in the sense that we are used to having our guests here, and then always an interesting conversation. But using online, sometimes it becomes a bit boring. Yeah. That you cannot even have the taste of it. The zeal that is no more there. Yeah. So I think that was the strange part of it. But we are glad that we are back here. And of course, you will introduce our guest, but we are glad that as we resume, he's our first guest.
Yes. We're definitely glad to be back. And of course, our guest today is Honorable Pierre Gomez. I told Esa, that's my favorite minister. So I'm just going to be on the defensive side today. So I'm just making it known to everybody right now, because everybody knows when Prof was appointed minister, I think me and so many other people we're really excited for this appointment, because the leadership role he played at the university, and we all said, whoa, we just hope he goes with that. And that's why we wanted to have him here some weeks ago before we went away, but he also was on another mission. He was in cabinet, he could not make it, and then he was out of town, I was out of town, so we were not. But today, Prof is back on the studio. He was here before he became minister, when he was at the university as the minister, first time back to the studio on Kerr Fatou. Welcome, Prof.
Thank you very much, Fatou. Thank you for having me, and thank you, Esa. And you talked about the online, and my first time coming here, that was to talk about online.
Yeah, during the COVID period.
Yeah, during the COVID period.
Yes.
And just before we start, I just want to extend, send my apology to you and Esa and the rest of your viewers. Yeah. Because last time, really, you set the motion, and unfortunately, I could not come because we were having cabinet up to 9 p.m. Yeah. So it was a real marathon, 10 a.m. to 9 p.m. Yeah. And I was expecting maybe we'll finish by around 5 so that I can be here. Yeah. So I wanted to apologize, but very happy to be back.
Very happy to be back. We have Esa, we're glad to have Professor here. I always call him Prof. I don't call him Honorable Minister, because that's what we know him for, the Prof. I hope you understand.
I'm an academic.
Great. So Esa, we're going to talk about his role today. The new Minister of Higher Education. You are in that area. You know the sector very well. So we will be talking about what he inherited, what has he done since he came, and what do we expect. I think the last time we were here, we were talking about the education sector, especially when the results came out, how so many people were disappointed, even though that was at a basic education. But it translates to the higher education, because if the products are not good from the ground, it's not going to be good when they go up there, and the systems have to be in place. So today we have Prof in the studio.
Thank you. I would want to say welcome to the program, and of course, like you know and everybody else know, we have a very professional relationship.
Yeah.
He was my lecturer.
Yeah.
He also became my dean, but also he became my deputy vice chancellor, academics, but also shortly became my vice chancellor as well. I think he acted for a month or so.
Roughly,
roughly
I
2
think
months.
3 months.
3 months.
3,
so,
4 months, yeah.
Yeah, so we have a very professional relationship, but I always say that does not also dictate the conversation. When we deal with politicians and when we deal with experts,
it's different.
It's somehow different, even though ministers are seen as political appointees, but somehow some of them have expert background, and we tend to understand because we want to get to the issues. We want to understand a lot of things that are happening. So that's why when we deal with them, they are different. But also, one thing that should be noted is that we ask the relevant questions because we want clarity. We want clarifications to be made, especially in issues that concern the public. Really, these are things that we are really interested in because we're here for the people, we're here for the public, for them to get to know exactly what is happening when it comes to all these sectors. And I think higher education is a very important sector as far as the development of this country is concerned. So I'm glad that he is here to, explain to us some of the things that, are going on in the higher education sector, but also, answer to questions, certain things that a lot of people are out there, that they are concerned about. And one thing that is of key interest to me as far as this program is concerned is the loan scheme, because it's the big fish in the building. So I think that's it. So I would like to once again welcome him to the program. I'm hoping to have a very interesting conversation.
Thank you very much, Esa. Prof, now let's start with when you were appointed. What kind of system did you find in place at the Ministry of Higher Education?
Thank you, Fatou. Just before I start also, I want to say Esa just said it, but Esa knows is somebody, most of the time we don't agree.
No.
But then it's difficult to separate us.
Yes.
You see? So, and he will be criticizing me sometimes on many issues, but then we also have to, because you see, during his training, I could see the potential in him, and through discussions, I don't want to go into details, but he knows. And there are certain things, sometimes he decided now to go further, to use what Claude Germain said, that is the metacognitive strategies. That these are things that you will not get from the classroom, and that will build you. That's what he did at that time, and, very happy later, very easy for him to get 2 master's degrees from South Africa and from the UK. And because he was well prepared and taking charge of his destiny. So let me just stop there because he knows how I'm very, very happy to see him progress and in his academic trajectory. Yes, the issue...
higher education, what system did you inherit?
Yes, to be frank with you, when I was coming, like all of us at uni, we thought, there was money available, especially for Faraba Banta campus. Because for many, many years, when he was coming to uni, he was told about Faraba, and then they will move to Faraba, and until he finished, and then now got employed at uni as a lecturer. There was no Faraba for him. And then even having classroom issues last semester, you see, where he had some of his lectures outside. So for me, there was the resources. But I noticed that there was not enough resources, and that there was no many projects sort of really relying on mainly government subvention. And that you all see is very, very minimal. So society expects a lot, but the money is not there because no other project. So Now, right now, so there was, we had to now push. Fortunately, there was something that was really available for the Lot 1, for the Faraba Banta campus. So, but then there was no action. 12 years for the Faraba since it started, 12 years, the longest project in this country. So from the 12 years, 6 years of negotiating, designing, changing the design all along, time wasted, time wasted. Then now the last 6 years, that is the contract signed, and still, ESA and others are yet to get their campus and so on. So we now have to, we noticed that there was no enough resources for the other stuff. We had to now go for resource mobilization. And then you've been hearing me in different platforms talk about the paradigm shift, looking at education as an investment, so that we can attain all these objectives. If not, ESA will be there hitting at me, hitting at everybody, because there's no money to address those things. So thank God, we got the support of the president to really go for resource mobilization, and we also have a very good finance minister. I wish you invite him here, Honorable Sidi Keta. This man knows numbers, he knows his job. He's a very good, he's a good professional, he's a real professional. So with him, we went to Egypt, and within a short period, he was able to convince, the donors out there. We came with 14 million US dollars to be able to do it from Badea, to be able to build the chancery, because there was nothing, not even a dollar for that, and and also for other faculties. So that one will start in January. For the other structures, they were now finalized what was done before, that is $7 million from IDB and so on. So also that was done. So in essence, my main issue was not having enough resources to be able to operate as per the expectations of society. Yeah. So that's the ministry that I found. And we are still struggling, because the only thing that I realize now that there's no other option is to invoke Plan B, and to now go for resource mobilization with donors, development partners, and private sector here and there to bridge that gap. There's no other way.
There's no other way, Esa. So it seems like, just like all other ministries, the Ministry of Higher Education is also dealing with resource to be able to implement. Now, in the absence of enough resources to do all the programs and projects, what are the key priorities now to improve upon what we have, like the University of the Gambia, say? Is everything that is needed to make it to a standard university available as we speak?
Yes, so as I said when I just took over, the priority of all priorities for me now is Faraba Banta to be delivered.
To be delivered.
Yes, that's any other thing becomes secondary. Well, I'm saying it not because I'm coming from UTG, but that's the reality.
That's the reality.
And it is not just going to help UTG when Faraba is delivered. Once Faraba is delivered, it's going to decongest Gambia College, so that they will have enough space. When Faraba is delivered, it's going to decongest NDI, so they have enough space, among others. And it's going to now create more space now for the graduate school, okay? And then also create more space, temporal space for the University of Applied Science and Technology. So now we are pushing with the the stakeholders, because that's the directive I received from His Excellency President Barrow, to ensure that really the students and the lecturers graduate from the challenges they are having on classroom issues and other facilities and so on. So that next year, God willing, in February, His Excellency President Barrow will inaugurate the Lot 1 of the Faraba UTG Faraba Banta campus, and it will comprise of ESA School, School of Arts and Sciences, School of Business and Public Administration, School of Education, and School of ITC, and the library. They will all move to Faraba. By that time, the campus will be ready, and then also will provide brand new furniture. They will not also have furniture issue. You must have seen some months ago, it was advertised, and we've already done the selection. But as per the rules, you need to get no objection from the donors. So we receive no objections from all of them. Just one is pending, waiting for that. And once that is done, the vendors will now will be asked to deliver the materials. One thing is now we have an issue, but we will fix it also, is the lab equipment, because it was divided into 3 lots. But the lab equipment, unfortunately, after the deadline, there was no submission. So it means we have to re-advertise it, okay, and get it maybe from other partners, other vendors outside the Gambia might also compete and get, because the standards are very high. So maybe that was the reason why some could not meet the requirement. Because this is IDB rules, we cannot change it. So we need to go by the rules of the game, and that's how things stand. So in essence, God willing...
so by February, the President will inaugurate Lot 1.
Yes.
When do we expect the others to be, the entire campus to be ready?
Yeah.
Because it's been 12 years, you already said, so when do we expect?
Yeah, the battle now is to graduate from that. And if you listen to me, you know that that is not my line of thinking, and I want the Gambia to graduate from that type of approach. This is the longest, and it is not acceptable in a country like the Gambia's, how with this type of, with those challenges. So what we are doing, come January, we are launching the work for Lot 2 to start. And that will now construct the Chancery building. Now, that will take care of all the administrative structures and everything. We'll take care of also the School of, the Faculty of Law also. And then also the School of Agriculture and Environmental Sciences, even though come February, they don't need to wait. They will move to Faraba because they have enough space there for their lectures. Okay, they don't need to wait for their building to be ready because they have enough space. So they will move. So in essence, there will be nobody from UTG operating from Brikama come February. Nobody. And the letter is going to UTG tomorrow morning. So you see, this country, we need to be action-oriented. I told somebody that, you know, the theories about development and other stuff, we heard them well before we were born. We read them through the books in the early 60s and come to now. All those things are said and is understood now. What the youths are waiting for is action. So this is it's a mission that needs to be accomplished. It must be fulfilled, then we move on to something else. That's the rendezvous we have with the Gambian people. And that's how we look at things.
Yes, sir.
Interesting. I mean, you've mentioned a lot, and I I understand the challenges that we face as a country when it comes to higher education. This is not only the higher education ministry, but also, it's reflected in the university, UTG specifically when it comes to resource issues, to the extent that when you were there, even when you were dean, rising to the ranks of become deputy vice chancellor academics, we had financial issues, and of course, the ministry or the Gambia government through the Ministry of Education owed the UTG a lot of money. At some point during the sit-down strike by the staff association, the ministry pledged to, I think, pay up to $150 million. Quite interesting, we understand that. But you've made mention that one challenge that you face, like I was talking about, has to do with finance, the resource issue there. You were at the UTG, like, okay, you came from UTG to be the Minister of Higher Education, and now you're prioritizing UTG Faraba Banta campus because you know the challenges that we face at the time because you were there. But your predecessor, who is now the Vice President, was the Minister of Higher Education, and you had this working relationship with him, UTG Higher Education. I mean, what exactly did you do to try to, get UTG being prioritized when your predecessor was there, Honorable Badara Juf, when he was the Higher Education Minister? What exactly did you do? Did you utilize that working relationship between the UTG management, that is the Vice Chancellor, the Deputy Vice Chancellor, including yourself? Did you utilize that relationship to make sure that that resource challenge that we face, especially the Faraba Bantan campus, was prioritized? Because looking at it, your predecessor left office just like less than a year, right? And then you came and you prioritizing Faraba Bantan campus within a short period. What was wrong that your predecessor could not prioritize Faraba Bantan campus, that it had to take 12 years? I know it didn't start his time. It started all the way back in 2010, and now it's 12 years. But through your working relationship with him, UTG Management and Higher Education, did you people really make efforts for him to prioritize Faraba Banta campus, that at least during his time, maybe lot 1 could have been delivered? And now when you come, it's going to be lot 2. But now the burden is like, you have to make sure that both lot 1 and lot 2 are delivered. So the work could have been separated, could have been shared, that he could have delivered lot 1, and then you deliver lot 2. So what happened exactly? How was the working relationship that Faraba Banta could not be prioritized during his time, except...
Yeah, 2 things there. 1, the finance, and 2, the Faraba Banta issue, as per your submission. The finance part of it, yes, the 150 million that government owes to UTG at that time was paid 100%. So there was no area. No, now there are new ones that
Are we still having that problem? Are you people still giving?
No. You see, that one will still continue because it's the same government. No. I'm coming.
I just want to get, let me just get this. What we are saying is that was a problem that you inherited, and you and I agree that it was unacceptable. We don't want to have the same problem again. Can you get to the government, the executive, to say, look, you know what, we can't afford to owe UTG money again. Let's pay for these students that we are awarding scholarships to.
Yes.
We should not focus on a lot of the times we focus more on the quantity than the quality. A lot of people get funding or scholarship from Gambia government, but actually are we paying? For me, it's better you have a limited number of people that you will pay for than to have a lot of people being given scholarship when they wouldn't pay for them.
I'm coming. Yeah, just wanted to say that that 150 million that government owed to UTG was paid 100%.
Yeah, sorry.
What happened now, after that, yes, the previous 2 years, last year, and then also last semester, we're having some areas, but it's no longer that 100 that we have, because that one was cleared. So you now start fresh. But government to government, you always have, you can have areas, but what is important to pay. And I also agree with you that we should do better than what we are doing in order to avoid owing, UTG that amount of money. And what we are doing now is, you see, I do not want to rush things. whatever I do, we are academics. We need to do operate based organization and method. That's the reason why when I came, I said, we cannot sit at the ministry, start pontificating. The best thing now, as policy makers, why not we change our modus operandi? And now said, let's look at the financing of higher education in the Gambia for the first time. And even to do that exercise, I don't think the ministry itself will be in a better position to do that. Let's look at those who feel it. And out of these institutions, UTG feels it the most. So, and UTG has a Directorate of Research and Consultancy. So we tasked UTG Director of Research and Consultancy. I said, I want you to do us come up with a strategy, sort of a report that will tell us, one, give us the situation analysis of financing in this country. How do we finance higher education? Because it will surprise you that we've never sat down at least for one minute to reflect on this issue as a country. What type of model are we using? Other countries, they know the model that they are using. For the Gambia, what model are we using? We cannot just wake up and be doing things anyhow. Yeah. It must follow a system. Which system are we using? So that's the fundamental question that was asked. The other thing also is, once you now understand the model, you need to now learn from the other models elsewhere. And then now, what is the model that you are proposing for the Gambia as a way forward? How can we finance higher education in the? So that's what we tasked them. We had a series of workshops with different stakeholders when they submitted their draft to validate it. Now they are just doing the final touches. They submitted the draft, and they just need to do the final touches now and submit the document. And mind you, once it is done, the objective now is to take it to cabinet, so that cabinet understands the situation, so that nobody will say, I don't know what is going on. See, it must be science. You need to really bring the data so that it is evidence-based. So that's one. Once cabinet is informed, then the National Assembly, who has the final say when it comes to the budget and so on, they also see that evidence. So from there now, everybody is informed of the situation. So now when you decide otherwise, it's based on your own opinion, but you don't say, I don't know. So that's the approach that we have used, and using the lecturers from the University of the Gambia, the Director of Research and Consultancy, to do that job and send us. Because you see, if we at ministry have to do that job, we might be biased a little bit.
Yeah.
So that's why I said, no, this is not the best approach. Those who feel it, let them now express it and then send us, and it will be both, it's yes, academic, but also it helps to talk to policymakers. And they did a very good job. Very, very, very good job. And with this, you don't need to get a consultant elsewhere. You see, in this country, we have enough experts. Yeah. So that's the
so how about the relationship with the?
Yes, that one, we had a good, an excellent relationship with His Excellency Badara Diouf, and when he was Minister of Higher Education. And in fact, in those days when we were really struggling in Brikama, I approached him and in fact explained the challenges that we were facing, at that time. And, he understood and then came to Brikama. I took him round on the conducted tour. From there, from that conducted tour, now he agreed to, disburse funds. And that's what led to the, new Chancery building, those 6 classrooms.
The NCB.
The NCB, you see, it was as a result of that. Prior to that, there was none. And then, the public health in those days, they were not having, even water issue and so on. That was addressed, and renovation of that area, the public health up to the library, the college in those days was taken care of, and including at that time, the auditorium also. That renovation was all part of that. That's what we did.
But that was not a good job. I think maybe the NCB I can understand.
Yes, but
the NCB, because that was the new building. But the renovation at the public health, including the toilets and all that, that wasn't a good job.
Yeah, it was different contractors, unfortunately. But I take note of that. But at least that was the issue. But the NCB building, 6 classrooms, brand new, and with a lab also, computer lab. So that's also something very, very good that we were able to do. But we did not stop that.
Why was it that he couldn't deliver the work?
Wait. Then we approached him again, and this time around he used his network and engaged MRC Holland, and that's why behind Bajong Koto, at Brikama, the college. So that's the time when they build now the MRC Holland buildings, those story buildings. Yeah, the objective at that time, there were 3 different story buildings. College will take 2, and then UTG will take 1.
I was going to come to that.
But by the time the construction was ready, I had the opportunity to go for my fellowship. Yeah. So I left. So when I left for a year, in my absence, college took over everything. So that was it. But that was because I took up that initiative, and then together with the principal of Gambia College, Abubakar, who was very, very instrumental at that time, and very supportive. And then we got the stuff. But it happened that also college needed also space. Unfortunately, they took everything, but they were to take 2 and give UTG 1. So this is what we were able to do at that time, among others. And remember, there was a time we engaged them, and the labs, the SAS lab, computer lab, and also the School of Business computer lab at that time was done during his time. With brand new computers for the University of the Gambia at that time. And then also 500 brand new chairs through the Qatari government, was done with him. And so he did a lot.
So, but yeah, he did a lot, but it seems like the government, this government or even previous governments always look at quantity instead of quality most of the time. During Badraju's time, there was this talk about changing MDI into what? University? Yes. And a lot of us people will say, now we're struggling with our main university right now. Why? And it's not fully equipped. And we're talking about resources to make sure the students out there get all the things that they need. Because even like you were saying something now here, and just reminds me, like making use of the Department of Research. In bigger countries, the university's research department are used for most of all the researchers in the country. They do a lot of the work for government and other NGOs. Like now, for example, if the outbreak of the AKI, the scientists at the university will be looking at, doing research and giving us data that we could be using on these things. But the reason why we are not able to do that in our university is not because we are not properly equipped. We all know that. We're talking about lack of resources and others. Now, that project, that idea of changing MDI into another university when we are struggling with this university, is that what you are also going with? And how do you intend to achieve that when we already have this other one not fully equipped as we want it?
Yeah, no, the transformation agenda is very, very clear. So MDI will be upgraded. So that one is still part of the agenda, but then it's not going to be like I know when we talk about it, people think about UTG.
Yes.
That is going to be another UTG. That's not our thinking.
Okay.
And we've discussed it with the MDI management and so on. What we want to do, our thinking, we are still, brainstorming, but our thinking is for MDI to be able to respond to the needs and aspirations of the civil service. It must be that institute that will be able to produce professional civil servants. So there are different models. In other countries, getting a first degree, will not automatically help you to occupy a certain position in the civil service.
Yeah.
You get your first degree, then now you go to an institution such as MDI, you compete for the position there. If you are accepted, then now you go through a certain training.
Yeah.
It's only when you come out from that end, then you can meet that minimum requirement to occupy certain positions. So in essence, we are talking about the civil service reform. MDI must be that engine of that reform. That's our thinking. So MDI cannot be a UTG base. You see, doing the same, so completely different. MDI should not do courses that other universities are doing. So that's our thinking. But we are yet to finalize everything. We are looking at different models, but we don't also want to rush things. We need to do it right. So even maybe somebody, when he becomes the Minister of Higher Education, will be the one to implement. But for me,
be in the classroom,
our objective is not to rush things. We need to do it right, because it's not about Prof Gomez.
Yeah.
It's about the Gambia.
Yeah.
So even if I am not able to complete that mission, whoever comes later
should be able to complete.
But let's do it right.
Right. And Prof, that brings me to this question, Esa. We talked about this here. Our education system in general is not tied to our needs as a country. Now, what you are saying here looks like something that will be welcomed. For example, how many students, how do you call it? There's this subject, specific subject that you have at the UTG. How do you call it? I don't know.
Development studies.
Development studies, right? We have a lot of students graduating with development studies. We have a lot of lawyers graduating. We have a lot of,
Pol science.
Yes, political scientists. We need those, though. We need them. But when it comes to things that will drive the engine of the economy, like the carpenters, the teachers, the others, that we need, like what you say, people in trained
TVET.
civil servants, TVET. We don't have a lot of that. And in some countries, you see people trying to encourage people who are in those science areas so we can have more of them, because that's what the country needs. But if we are sponsoring everybody to become a lawyer, everybody to become a political scientist, everybody to become and then at the end of the day, we are not tying our education to our needs as a country. That makes it difficult. We're producing so many professionals. They are not getting jobs in the system because the professions they're also choosing, there are a lot of them, they are not marketable.
Fatou, I wish Gambians can hear you loud and clear. This is the issue, and this is also something, the mandate that we received from President Barrow, for us to really create that paradigm shift in our higher education sector. That's the reason why you heard the pronouncement some time ago for us to come up, to propose regional TVET centers. And we've also, when we took over, we've also engaged, because there was Ndemban was a TVET center there, but we were having issues, and also Kanilai and so on. So thank God right now we're able to have the buildings roughly ready, roughly 99% of these buildings, and classrooms student dormitories, staff quarters, everything is built right now in the Funis, in Deman and Kanilai, and also Mansakonko. Mansakonko, the GTI branch of now USAID. So in Mansakonko is also with dormitories.
Okay.
So it's all there. And multi-purpose. Because you see, Fatou, 63% of the population of this country are youths.
Yeah.
And you all see what is happening, them going to Libya, to Europe with the back way, and so on and so forth. In 2019, I was in Rome, we're passing, and so on. I saw some, my host told me, these are our people. And we heard them speaking, and you see them, you say, I wish their parents could see how their children are here in Europe and so on. That Europe is not that El Dorado. You see that, there are a lot of, some of them are finding it very, very difficult out there. And why are some of them going? Sometimes we are not in the position to respond to the needs and aspirations of them.
There are no opportunities.
And therefore, education must be fit for purpose. Education must address that.
Yeah.
And we feel that it's part of our responsibility as a ministry to now propose an alternative using higher education. And that's the reason why we are coming up with TVET centers. I told you what we've just done with Neman and also Kanilai. The only thing now is the equipment, to equip these buildings, these structures. Now it was not, but now it is complete roughly. Now, with even because what we want, we want students to stay there and with the staff. So that they will do, not only that, some months ago also I went around the country because we started identifying lands in each region to build TVET centers. Went to CRR, north and south, in Kuntaur, just behind the area council. We have a land there now. Okay? We went also to Sapo, and you know Sapo.
Yeah.
You have fresh water, 24/7. Let me tell you what is going to happen, the new agenda of this government.
Okay.
And we are not really playing. This is a mission.
Okay.
And we are very, very serious about it. What we intend to do now in Kuntaur is to build a TVET center there, and it will be multi-purpose. You have horticulture, how to call it, carpentry, tailoring, and other, some might do auto mechanic and other stuff. Okay, multi-purpose. That's what we're going to propose. And most of our centers, that's what we're going to do. But in Sapo, it's going to be a specialized institution, specialized TVET center on agribusiness.
Do you have funding for all of these projects, and what is the timeline?
I told you earlier on that I know that you don't have money, because the money that I'm talking about is your own money. Government money is your money. But since you don't have enough, but we have to think outside the box. We are now asked to go for resource mobilization.
Okay.
And God willing, very soon, okay, maybe next month, I cannot tell you exactly, but maybe next month, His Excellency will lay the foundation stone for Kuntaur and Sapo. And let me complete here with Sapo. It's going to be on agribusiness. You see, we need to train people to be specialists in this area. We don't want, office agriculture, hands-on agriculture. So that's why there we are having it a Sapo where you have fresh water 24/7. Okay, you don't need to wait for the rainy season all the time to be able to whatever. So throughout the year you can have agriculture. So they will be in that center to study agriculture, and also they will produce what they eat in that center. They will be selling, because there will be a commercialization component of it, selling what they produce, and the resource, the funds generated from that to come back and, you know, support the center. In addition to the subvention that government might be giving them here and there. So this is what we are.
Such a fancy idea.
I mean, there's something very problematic here.
Okay.
I mean, brilliant. It's a marathon one. You explain how to do all these things, but at the end of the day, it comes back to the issue of resource. And what you are telling us that, you see, when I listen to you with the TVET, the Agribusiness, the USED, the Faraba Banta Campus, MDI being transformed, and it's an agenda, like you said, it's already part of the agenda. That's something that we are not even compromising with. But it gets me back to the point of like what Fatou raised. Are we, as a country, are we interested in quality or we're interested in quantity? I understand your point that we have to move forward as a country. You go to certain countries like Ghana, for instance, there's JIMPA, okay? You have University of Ghana, okay? Universities are there that are like provide training in all other areas, but there are universities that are also specialized. For instance, Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, JIMPA, they have specialized universities. The question that a lot of people ask out there is, as a country, well, we might need 1 or 2 public universities, depending on the need, specifically what we need. If you tell me about USET, okay, because you know very well, you and I are part of a platform that I've always been opposed to this idea of having multiple public universities, because for me, my concern is how do you upgrade the UTG? You're from there, you know that we're really struggling with our undergrads, and UTG is now introducing master's programs, it is introducing PhD programs. Then you need funding for all these programs. For them to be strong, for them to be effective, you need funding for them. Now, if you create another university, you said could be because, okay, that is a specialized area on science, technology, and engineering. But then if you want to transform like MDI into another university, another public university, because what you're saying is that our thinking is not for MDI to become like another UTG, but you have no guarantee for that. Because what you're telling us that that's your thinking. And when you said that, I look at it from a very idealistic perspective. But what happens in an ideal is different from what happens in the real world. In an ideal world, this is what we think. We are not thinking that MDI will be another university. But in reality, and you and I have no control over that, depending on the type of system that we have, as a country, we're constrained by resources. And when I say we're constrained by resources, it doesn't mean that we don't have the resources. We have the resources, just that we have looters. People who are corrupt, who are just looting state resources, okay, left, right, and center. But you talk about the resource mobilization. We don't have the funding for all this. For me, I'm thinking like, are we putting the cart before the horse? We could start with maybe 1, 2 TVET centers, okay? Let us not be aggressive in our campaign when we don't have the resources to start with. At least when we start, maybe with Sapo and Kuntawur, or we start with Kanilai and Demban, then we try to move, but because the resources are not there yet. You're talking about USET is not yet ready. I'm not sure whether we have secured the funding for USET completely. Do we have the funding 100%?
Yeah, let me come in here.
Let me complete and then you can come in. I'm not sure we have the funding for USET 100%. I'm not sure when we have the, because you're saying MDI, in fact, you're still thinking about it. You have not yet finalized on that one. The Faraba Banta campus, I think we have 100% or 90% funding for that.
Yes.
We're not talking about that. But if we talk about the TVET centers as well, it's important. TVET is an important component. And if you remember, during my assessment of the program on education, the results, on the grade 12 results, this was the conversation. For me, why do we have to focus on, just like our education system is not producing job creators. It is just producing job seekers. TVET area, for instance, when we look at somebody with 3 credits, for instance, maybe had a credit in technical drawing or woodwork, mathematics, and English, how can we say that person failed? Maybe that person is talented in something in another area, and we need to promote it because development is holistic. It's not one area. It's not one component. It's a component of. It's a combination of different components. That's what development is. And I truly appreciate the idea of promoting TVET in all these centers. But my problem is, you might be here as the higher education minister today. The thinking that we don't want MDI to become. We aren't thinking that MDI will become another UTG. We're not thinking that USET will become another UTG. We are not thinking that these TVET projects in different parts of the country will fail. What we are thinking is that these things will succeed. But you and I have no control over that. Yes, it's good for us to be ambitious. But for me, it's good that we start piecemeal. We start with what we have, rather than bringing these very ambitious projects. At the end of the day, when the fundings are not available, they become white elephant projects. What is the response?
No, you see, I understand. And you see, let me tell you, if we go back to the archives, this is what they told us in the early 80s. And that's why we did not have any university until 1994. This is the same narrative, and you know your training should not.
No. This is a different narrative, Prof. This is a different one. You know why it's a different one? Let me just come in, and I'll give. Let me just come in. You know why it's a different narrative? The narrative in those days is that no, Gambia, we cannot do it. In fact, the narrative has been all the way back in 1964 or so. Barclay Rice wrote that the birth of an improbable nation. You know that Gambia cannot even survive as an independent state, and we defied odds. That we cannot even have a university. We defied odds. But I'm not saying that we cannot have all these things. But that's not my argument. My argument is, I'm afraid that the funding for this might not be available. At the end of the day, they become wild elephant projects. This is my point.
Yes, I'm coming. You know,
can't we get them piecemeal?
Yeah, I'm coming. Just allow me now to explain a little bit on this. I'm just telling you, I understand. And right at the beginning, we started with funding, financing of higher education. And I think we addressed that. And I also told you that I now very rapidly realize that you people do not have the funds because it's taxpayers' money, whatever we receive from finance and so on. So we don't have enough to be able to do that. If we have to depend on you know, the budget from finance and so on, so we will not be able to do that. And I agree with you. But I also did tell you that I realized that if we are to now do something really significant, create that you know, transformation, we need to go for resource mobilization.
Are we doing that now?
Yeah, you know, that's why I'm saying we are doing that. But you see, you know, there are certain things that you cannot say now until that. But I did tell you that, God willing, maybe next month or even before,
to lay the foundation,
so that the president will lay the foundation of 2 centers. You get the point? So, you see, the president will not go somewhere to lay the foundation when there's no funding for that.
How about the expertise? Are they available?
You know, so all these things, so we've worked out all these possibilities. You see, and let me tell you, I'm also looking at the funding part of it, at least for the regarding the expertise. You know,
that's important here.
Right at the beginning and so on and so forth. So we are looking for different options. You know, you all know me that for using Plan B, invoking Plan B all the time. So that's what we do. And knowing very well we are likely not to have the funds, so I have to go for resource mobilization. And God willing, for these 2, especially, imagine, even for that one, for the agro-business in Sapo. I don't know whether you are seeing what it represents. Even that one alone. But if you add now Kuntaur on top of it, you look at what it's going to make. Because that's going to address 2 things. Rural-urban migration. You see, I went to Sapo. The chief told me, there's one family coming from a fuller setup. The boy just one day decided to sell all the cattle. And that's what they were using for farming, to go to Europe. And the person ended up not succeeding. And then now the cattle is no longer there. So they have to now depend on others for their survival, when they were using that before for farming and so on. So when we now create these opportunities, these youths will stay. Just one. So what we are doing is these TVET centers will help to create, produce these middle-level technicians that you talked about, so that we will not depend on non-Gambians to do certain jobs. Here in this country, you need a good tailor, a good auto mechanic, and and so on and so forth. So you need to depend on non-Gambians. So we need to address that. But the other thing also, the training will be in such a way that because it is creating a second stream different from the traditional stream that you and I are coming from. That is the TVET and engineering stream. So that will now go to the second, the last layer, that is the university of applied science and technology. Those with the national diploma, higher national diploma, who have very good results, may later transition, because you have two possibilities. Somebody can come straight from high school, grade 12, straight to University of Applied Science and Technology to do a BSc in engineering, or somebody who have gone through the TVET center up to higher national diploma with good results, now to proceed later now to the engineering, so that we can produce for the first time in history of this country, because it will, after 57 good years, we are yet to produce one single homegrown engineer in this country. What type of development are you talking about when you don't have one, you are not able to produce one engineer? But the University of Applied Science and Technology, USET, that we are talking about, by the way, is the first phase is entirely funded by the World Bank. It's a grant from the World Bank. There are two layers here. The first layer was we received grants from the World Bank before. When I was at UTG, I was even the academic coordinator to send the Gambians to different universities in the sub-region. Ghana, Nigeria, Cameroon, and other places, and even Senegal. For them, they came here, they run the program here from Gaston Berger in other, in computer science, mathematics, and statistics, and so on. Others, they were sent elsewhere. Now, second phase of the Africa Center of Excellence, World Bank Africa Center of Excellence, we said we would prefer, instead of sending our people to different countries, why can't you help us build this structure? Because the reason why we are sending them there, because we don't have this structure. But if you help us build this structure, even after this project, we'll continue having that university that will produce the manpower. The World Bank did not want to toe that line, because in that situation we are asking for more money to be able to than just sending them to Nigeria or Ghana. But finally they agreed. That was the good news, and that's also what His Excellency Badara Diouf did. Also, is to his credit. And now it helped us now to come up with USET, University of Applied Science and Technology, and they agreed to fund the first phase. That one, the second phase, funds are not available. I concur with you, but the first phase entirely is available. And in fact, this first phase takes care of the training of some Gambians. As I'm talking to you, we've sent many Gambians outside for training in preparation for the USET, the fully fledged USET university, and so on. So they are in different, doing their PhDs under the World Bank, funding. That's what and most of them are in engineering. And in the process now, we are running 3 engineering programs: mechanical engineering, civil engineering, and electronical engineering. These are areas we need. Yeah. But we don't have any homegrown. The field that we have, we train outside. And with this now, that will help us to produce more. And the campus also, the faculties, the funds are there. We lay the foundation stone. Now we just received clearance from the World Bank for no objection to go ahead with the contractor. We are now being asked to just negotiate, and once with the contract, once that is done, and the World Bank gives the green light, and they will start the work. And as per the agreement, it should take nothing less than 18 months. 18 months.
Nothing more than 18 months.
No, nothing more than 18 months. Nothing more than 18 months for these faculties, Faculty of Engineering, of Mechanical Engineering, Faculty of Civil Engineering, and Faculty of Civil Engineering to be up right in Brikama here, behind the Gambia College. That is the, so now we also have a plan for the second phase. We are still going on for resource mobilization.
There's no money for that one yet.
Yeah. Yes, for that one. And that one is computer engineering and other aspect of the engineering like petroleum and other and gas. So something like that.
I just want to
these areas where we don't have real specialists. So that we can help.
Let me get you back to Faraba Banta. I'm rewinding, going back, fast forward, but then we'll come back. I mean, the arts and science is moving February.
Yes.
I'm being told that the faculty, the building that arts and science is supposed to occupy is not built for arts and sciences, it's built for engineering. And now we have USET. If we have USET, is it that UTG, because I know, you and I know that at some point the Ministry of Higher Education instructed that UTG should stop running its engineering program because USET will take care of that. Now, the building there is not built for arts and sciences. There are 14 classrooms, and BPA has more than 20 classrooms. Arts and science is a very big school, 14 classrooms. There are office spaces, but I mean, if you look at all those office spaces, none of those offices have, toilets inside. They have the building side of it. Outside, you have toilets there, and the other side, too, you have toilets there. But only 14 classrooms. And of course, so it's like, what the complaint is that because the engineering is a smaller school, understandable, even the classrooms, the size of the classrooms are not that big. And also, the auditorium or the amphitheater, you call them, they're taken care of, I think 2 of them, they're taken care of 100. But arts and science is a very big school. The concern now is it that you people will ask my school to go to Faraba, occupy that building to say, because the argument is that you people are asking us that arts and science will move. But when we went to Faraba, when I went to Faraba yesterday, the guys on the ground are telling us that arts and science, you're part of the second lot, not the first lot. So meaning, we will move to engineering department, occupy there, and then they will tell us that, okay, we'll build your lot. But my argument is that probably, this is what I'm thinking, I'm assuming, that when we get to this place, now they will tell us that, look, there is no engineering department now, it's all you said. So you continue occupying this, and that will be another challenge. Because you and I know, you were the dean of that school. Arts and science alone has like more than 100 staff. How do you accommodate 100 staff in that office space, like maybe, I think there are no more than 20 offices. And also the classrooms. The population of arts and science is growing exponentially. How do you accommodate all these people? So you tend to have the same problem you are having in Brikama, space issue. You tend to have that on the permanent campus. I want to get this clear. Is arts and science part of the first lot or the second lot? Are we moving to engineering school for temporary, as a temporary base, or we are going there permanently? This is a confusion.
Yeah, let me make it very clear, because I see some trending in your emails and so on and so forth from your school, and because people do not understand. As if people were very angry to see, for the first time, a fully fledged campus.
No. We just want to get this clear. We just want to get this clear. Whether we are using somebody's building or not.
Let there be positive vibration. Yeah. You see, that's what I'm doing. Because the way I'm looking at it, it is as if some are not happy to see finally a good campus for UTG to graduate from these classroom issues.
Seriously, nobody will know.
I'm just saying it because I know it's not your case. I know it very well. I'm just saying it because I'm making it very clear that when these schools that I mentioned move to Faraba, nobody will be there to say, I don't have space. In fact, when you move for the first, close to the first 2 to 5 years and so on, I don't think you will be able to occupy all the space. At any given time, you will always have an empty classroom in the entire campus. You see, that one I can tell you. The place originally, originally, arts and sciences was removed from the possibility of moving to Faraba. I said, this is the you know, the second largest school. So how can you talk about the movement of movement to Faraba and abandoning arts and sciences in Brikama? So it doesn't make sense. So we have to, they have to move. And then now there was this, yes, originally, because they later modified, it was there. They later modified to now use the one that was designed for engineering. But now they were asked to now do some modification, some adjustment to be able to cater for the arts and science to use that, because there will be no engineering at Faraba. That's the policy. There is no engineering at Faraba. UTG will be the only university that will be asked to do general education. UTG does the, but UTG will not go into engineering. The engineering will be done exclusively by USET. And USET will not do programs that are run by UTG. That's one. The other thing also, right now you have a faculty, you know, that is for education, education and so on. But education, UTG education will move to Gambia College, because Gambia College will be upgraded into a teacher education.
So who will occupy that building?
Yeah, that's one. UTG will use it for whatever they want to use it for. So, and for other programs, we are working on all these adjustments. Okay, just to tell you that. So the Gambia College, the School of Nursing of Gambia College, the School of Public Health of Gambia College will be moved to the UTG, School of Medicine and Allied Health Sciences. Gambia College School of Agriculture will be moved to UTG School of Agriculture and Environmental Sciences. So Gambia College will be left with only one school, School of Education, and UTG School of Education will be moved to Gambia College and be upgraded now into one university, teacher education. Then there will be the one in charge of nursery to postgraduate.
And they'll be housed at the Gambia College in Brikama.
Yes, at Gambia College in Brikama. And Gambia College will do two things. Will continue serving the higher diploma level, but then they will also now be doing the degree program. That's another phase. We are working on that. That's another plan of its own.
I think there is a problem here.
But
miscommunication, Prof. They are telling us that arts and science is part of Lot 2. Can you make this clarification? You're on record. Is there any Lot 2 that arts and science is part of? Or arts and science, because you're saying that they are asked to modify. But I'm telling you, when you go there, you realize that that place is not built for arts and science and may not be able to cater for arts and science.
I'm telling you this. We discuss it. We discuss this, and the engineering one, that's what has been modified. You see, to cater for arts and sciences. However, I said when I was asked by your dean, which one is going to be your school, I said the one. There are many. This is the same format, sort of, though there are some slight differences. But the one for BPA is bigger. Okay. But we are coming up also with other buildings. What they did originally was to have to put arts and science as the last option. I'm saying you cannot have the second biggest school as a last option. You see, right now they don't have enough space. That is the priority. So that's how I now ask for that engineering, since it's already moved to USET. So let that building be adjusted to cater for arts and sciences.
But are they adjusting it?
Yes, they've done that, but it's not 100%. I think it's 85% to 95%.
I think most of the labs, when you look at the labs, they are even like engineering labs.
You see, we just wait until it is ready. Okay, that is for the arts and science component. But this is what we are working on, and it will address. By the way, January we're starting other faculties, building other faculties.
But one thing, you can't have a modern university having office spaces that don't even have toilets inside. That's unacceptable, Prof. We can't be going back to the old days.
No, please. When you, for the viewers, when you say it this way, it is as if you have to...
no, but they have to go outside their offices. Just, even the dean office doesn't have.
1 meter or 2 meters. You know, it's just the same area. Maybe not the...
But Fatou, no.
In the University of...
No. This is permanent campus. You're talking about permanent campus.
You have restrooms. So that's one. And it's not all the... some offices have inside.
I'm not sure of the offices.
No, I'm just telling you because I have the plan.
There.
You see, and let me tell you, when I went for the familiarization, I visited all of them. They were even tired, but I visited all of them. You see, so they are all there.
You know why I'm not happy with this. In the first place, arts and science should not have any modification. We suffered a lot in UTG when it comes to space issue. Not just allow me.
Yes, sir.
When it comes to space issue, and we cannot get to this point now. When you get to the ground, they are telling you that arts and science is part of the second lot. The money is already here.
You see, I'm telling you.
That's what the engineer said.
You see, they don't. Whoever tells you that doesn't have the financing.
It's the minister. The minister.
I'm telling you this.
So there is no second lot for arts and science.
Just wait and see whether. And I'm telling you, you asked me whether I'm on record. I said wait until you go to Faraba and see whether you will not have where to have your lectures. They will give you. I'm saying when you move, at least for the next 5 years, at any given time, there will be some empty classrooms.
The spaces are too small.
The
classroom spaces are too small. That's my assessment. Prof, let's get to the point, the loan issue, the loan scheme.
This one is trying to...
I've told you that we is in lot 1. Okay, this is lot 1, and we are doing it. And then we will also build a big auditorium also.
For arts and science?
No, the big auditorium is for everybody.
For the entire
this big one. This is also part of the plan, which is yet to be built. You see, there are many things. I told you earlier on our challenges. Funding. I told you that before coming, I thought that there was money. But then I have to realize that I have to go for resource mobilization. So the more I get, the more we...
just one more thing before you get to that. Just one more thing. Just one more thing. Before you get to the loan scheme.
I have just 15 minutes.
Yeah, just one more thing. It's about the issue of transportation. Because this is very important here. When you get people to Faraba, a lot of people are working here, okay? They have to rush to Faraba for their lectures. Are you going to provide buses for all? These are very big schools. BPA, Arts and Sciences. We are talking about nothing less than 20 buses.
Government,
just today we took 3 buses. Imagine my introduction to politics class.
8 buses.
8 buses.
Right now, you have 8 buses. But on top of that, government will step in to provide additional buses. In fact, for your info, that was one of the questions that President Barrow asked me about the transportation. So when he asked me, I said, then he is also thinking about it. So and I used the opportunity also to go into details. This was discussed, I can tell you that. So we will also support UTG to have some buses to at least between Brikama and Faraba.
Let me tell you something, Esa. You guys at the UTG, you are very lucky. This guy was at the UTG all these years. It seems like everything he's thinking, dreaming, doing at that ministry.
What do you mean by lucky?
No, what I'm saying, no, he knows the problems that the university faces. And I mean, when he sat down here, the first thing he said is Faraba Banta. It seems like everything he thinks, dream, and think is UTG. So maybe that way you guys...
we are not lucky. For 22 years, we don't have a campus. I will disagree. We are not lucky. For 22 years, we don't have a campus.
No, what I'm saying,
that's a failure on the part of the state. That's a failure on the part of the state.
Why I say you're lucky, you have somebody who knows the sector. He knows the problems of the UTG.
It's unfortunate. He's telling you 12 years the campus cannot be ready.
But he was not there. He's just
so it's not a luck. It's not a luck on our side. It's unfortunate.
You are lucky. He understands your problems. There are other people who didn't understand all these problems.
I get that. I get that he understands the problems.
That's what I'm saying.
But that's not luck on our side.
No,
that is unfortunate.
Because if you have people who don't care, you will still be facing the same problem for the next 12 years.
And then we will have closed the university down. And then get back.
We don't want to close the university.
We'll close it down then. And then come back.
Going back to it now, Prof, you complained about financial issues, having lack of resources at the ministry, but yet you're introducing the loan scheme. I know we want to be generous, we want to help people out, but how do you manage, how do you plan to implement and manage this scheme?
Yeah, our approaches will be very participatory. You know, and Esa knows it very well, that you have very brilliant students, very brilliant.
Yeah.
I used to feel it a lot when I was dean. You know, some people with very good grades, and unfortunately they cannot get support, because the scholarship also will not cater for will not be able to cater for everybody. Yeah. Even though right now the data from UTG finance is half of the student population of UTG are funded by government.
Half.
Half.
Wow.
All of them have either by the majority are by MOHAS, by ministry. Some by MOPSI, others by MRC Holland, and others by Ports Authority, Social Security, and other. In essence, government agencies. If you put all together, excluding MRC Holland, is half of the student population. So if you now add MRC Holland, then it will be more than half.
Above, yeah.
More than half so far. But we cannot use that as
that's not enough?
Yeah, that's not enough. You know, every Gambian has a right for higher education if they meet the requirement and they want to come forward, and so on and so forth. So we need to create the opportunity for them. And somebody should not be denied the opportunity because he or she doesn't have the funds. So based on that, and at the ministry, you know, 65% of the scholarships are meant for the science, those in the STEM
yeah.
and medicine and so on. Okay, so if you are in medicine and so on, so it's automatic. Okay. You just need to apply through the normal procedure. Then you will get it automatically. Great. If you are a Gambian.
If you are a Gambian.
Yes. So that one, there's no negotiation. Okay. Then if you are in these core sciences also, you have those, you know, good grades and so on, then you come forward. Now, what about if you have good grades, but you are just 5 credits and so on and so forth? So you tend sometimes to be left behind, even though you are in the sciences. So the selection must have you know, drop you and so on. Then now you have those in the humanities and social sciences also. So struggling with the rest. So these are some of the things, and they form the majority. And most of the time, those in the humanities and social sciences form the majority.
Can you add that? Most of the time we are not prioritized, especially political science.
No, we give.
We are not prioritized.
Our
anyway.
records
That you give now, you are better now. But Jamia's time it was worse.
Yes, but we do give. But the issue is the priority is those in the sciences and medicine. As I said, if you have admission at School of Medicine at the University of the Gambia, you apply.
That is
normal. You go to bed, you will have it handy.
That's encouraging.
So that one is a priority of all priorities. Then the next thing is those in the STEM, maths, physics, chemistry, biology. These ones, and on top of that, if you are in the sciences and then you are a girl, that one also is a priority. Yeah. Not automatic, but because you see you have a good number there.
Yeah, yeah.
So you stand a chance.
Okay.
So now the other thing now is the rest. And the rest, they form the majority. They are more in the humanities and the social sciences. You cannot give all of them. But they are there at the University of the Gambia. Some have challenges. So what we are saying is, since we cannot give to everybody, can we start thinking of coming up with another alternative? Since every time we give scholarships and so on and so forth, but the scholarship is free. You don't pay anything.
Yeah.
So we want to propose, once we are done, by the way, we are done with the draft. We just will be sending it by next week to AG Chambers for legal advice.
Okay.
And after that, we will now share it with the stakeholders for them to review and disagree to agree, and then we conclude and have a document that will follow its due process later to Cabinet and to National Assembly, because it's going to be an act.
Oh.
Yes, we are not going to joke with this. It's going to be a law, because it's taxpayers' money that is being used here. So now, what we want to do is we want to maintain the scholarship, but we want to have it only for excellence. This is our thinking. What the stakeholders will say, and well, we are open, but our thinking is to maintain this scholarship, but for excellence. And because we want to send a message out there to the youth, that if you want your parents not to struggle for your tuition fees, just work hard.
Yeah.
And the state will come and pay for your tuition fees for 4 years without having you to struggle for anything. So then some of them who understand that message will now work very hard at school. So, and they come forward, they can compete for that scholarship. That's one category. Then now, what about the rest? We said the rest now, they can compete for now the loan scheme. And the loan scheme will be, you will have to apply, and then you compete for it, and there will be a board that will be in charge of doing that. And people will be tracked to really do that, how to call it, track those who have taken the loan. So the state will pay for you. You do you have your university training. You sign an agreement with the state, and maybe the stakeholders once again will decide. Maybe after 2 years, or 3 years, or 5 years, then you start paying. Our position is, you don't have to pay when you are going to school.
Okay.
That's our position, but we leave it to stakeholders, and maybe the National Assembly will have a final say when it reaches them. Okay, but our thinking at the ministry is when people are given the loan scheme, they should be allowed to concentrate on their studies and their studies alone. And then when they finish, for them to be given a time frame.
Yeah.
Now to start work or look for a job, and then later they start paying. Maybe 2 years after, then they start paying. But people must be properly tracked.
Yes.
So that when the time is up, wherever you are, then the system knows that you're supposed to pay, and it will be deducted from source. That's our thinking.
Automatically, yeah.
Automatically. We don't have to wait for you to come and pay.
Yeah.
It will link to all our banks, so that the moment your salary comes, it is deducted.
How about if you're outside the country, Prof?
And but you see, there will be collaterals.
There will be collaterals to this.
That's why I'm saying proper tracking. That's why I want it to be a law, so that if you fail, it becomes a criminal act. Now, these are some of the things that we want, and with that, in the long run, if you look at it, it becomes a sort of a revolving fund, because those who have paid, use that money now to give it to their brothers and sisters.
Like a welfare system.
Exactly.
Now, this is an excellent scheme, Prof. It will help a lot of the people, the underprivileged, the people that are coming from low-income backgrounds, and there are a lot of kids in the household, and they want to have a university education. They cannot do it because their parents cannot afford it. Now, this is a great opportunity for those people. Two things here. If it's going to be something like you're going to have a collateral, maybe a house to put down or something, people like that might not have those kind of collaterals. I always say this is the reason why young entrepreneurs don't have access to financial loans from the banks, because they cannot provide those collaterals. Now, if those students are obliged to bring a collateral, like in the form of, I don't know, whatever it is, if it's going to be a title deed or something, and they don't have access to it, now they're limited. The second thing is, if there's no collateral, the mechanism to be able to track them and get the money paid. Because again, like you said, it's a taxpayer money. So these are the challenges. Do we have a system where, because I know, you know, my siblings are outside the country and they have student loans, but they are able to pay that after several years after they finish school. But there's a system out there where after 7 years, they'll be able to pay that. They cannot, there's no way.
Because they have employment.
There's no way they will not pay that.
Exactly.
It will be there. It will affect your credit if you don't pay up to, you know, those things. But do we have those mechanisms?
No, that's
here?
why you see, Fatou, if it is possible out there,
Yeah.
and our people went to these schools, these universities,
Yeah.
and they know, and some of them went through these processes, why can't we allow that to happen in the Gambia?
We should be
It's
able
just a matter of doing, putting our house in order. As I said earlier on, organization and method. You see, we have to do it right. You see, I know somebody once told me that in the 80s, in a particular bank, and people, I said that was in the 80s.
Yeah.
We are in 2022.
Yeah.
We need to apply what we learned in school. So there must be different ways and means. The collateral aspect, it might be one approach. But there are other approaches, other possibilities out there that can be used to ensure that people are properly tracked. And these are the issues. Somebody can stand for you, and so on and so forth, among other issues. But
that's what I was thinking.
There must be, yes, you have a guarantor also, and when that fails, you know, that person will be, because sometimes in the banks, that's it. Sometimes it's, you have a guarantor, that's all, and you are given a loan. So if you don't pay, ESA who sign it for you, you know, the bank will follow ESA. So among other issues. So, but we must be, the essence is
to make it accessible.
Make it accessible, and then also having a system where people will be honorable. You see, this, when you were down, the state came and supported you. When you are up there now,
you should think about the state.
You should think about the state, because the state wants to help others. They want to help your brothers and sisters out there. And if failure to do so, you need to face the right sanction.
It's a means to make people honorable and be also patriotic to their country and love their country. Because at the end of the day, I think at some point it is also kind of forcing people to stay and work in their country. But the problem here also comes in, like, when they complete, how about if someone says, for 2 years I don't have a job, I've graduated, I don't have
But you see, you cannot take state, I'm not going to say taste money, taxpayers money.
I understand.
You cannot take,
how do they pay?
Yeah, but you cannot use taxpayers money. You graduate after 4 years at the university, you come and sit down and say, I don't have money.
I don't have a job, no.
In this country, at least you can have a teaching job.
A teaching job, okay.
If you know that you've taken loans, you go and teach.
You go and teach.
Okay,
and
the state, by the way, the state will benefit more if you have more graduates now teaching
at our university.
You see, so that's it. So you can use that to pay your bills, and then once you are done, then you can do otherwise.
You told us that it's going to be competitive. Does it mean that some will have, some will not have?
It is clear that we might not be able to. Yes.
Yeah.
We will not be able to. All these students, because the objective is going to be tertiary and higher education. So it's not going to be only for universities, like UTG. You have to take care of Gambia College, USET, MDI, you know, UTG, all of them. So that's what it is going to be. And we have to also ensure that we create that opportunity for everybody.
Are you confident that the government, the cabinet or executive will be willing to provide the money? Because you're getting taxpayers' money. Or are you thinking of another source of funding?
Yeah, but you see, there will be different possibilities. Is there
different possibilities, or there will be different possibilities?
No, there are different possibilities. If you look at different models elsewhere. You see, the good thing is, you see, all what you are saying now, I told you earlier on, there's nothing new. What Prof Gomez is saying here in 2022 is not new. It has been tested elsewhere.
Yes.
The only thing is, we did not do what others were doing.
We did not put our house in order.
Exactly. But what I'm saying here, this loan scheme exists in South Africa, It exists in other countries, UK, or other countries. I'm talking about even the tech fund, tertiary and higher education fund. It exists in other countries in in Ghana. Ghana, even the loan scheme exists in Ghana, and we are using the Ghanaian model, by the way. So to use. So we know how it is. So now the main funding will come from central government, but the other one also is the local government. I told some people from a particular local government today in my office that we'll invite you, because what we're going to put in the document, your contribution, because you're having citizens in your own municipality. Each municipality in this country must contribute.
Well, you're going to have to fight with them because they don't get that subvention from government.
Yeah, but
so they are not able to cater for all the needs.
It's not about subvention.
No, but they are not able to cater for the basic needs of their people there.
But you see, people pay tax. People pay tax.
Most of, let me tell you.
Edward Watson said, no taxation without representation.
No, but let me tell you, do you know that a lot of the taxes that councils are supposed to be paid are collected by GRA when it comes to most of their taxes.
I agree. What I'm saying is, let there be. You see, thank God that GRA is, let's say, collecting, and everybody will know how much is collected. For each area council. But what we are saying is, at least a certain percentage. Imagine 1 or 2% of what they have collected. Imagine, I'm not want to dream big.
Okay.
Imagine that an area council is able to sponsor 1 or 2 students. What they have contributed is able to pay for the tuition fees of 1 or 2 students alone. That's better than zero.
That's huge.
Currently.
Yeah.
And how many area councils do we have? You see, so this is what we are talking about. So they need to also chip in. That's what exists in other countries.
Okay.
We cannot have, people pay taxes. Edward Francis Moore told the Europeans in those days, no taxation without representation. People must feel it. Government, central government, people are paying tax. So government has to come and chip in something. So area council, people are paying tax. So they also have to chip in also for the area people. And in essence, we now serve this. Then individuals also, we will be also engaging donors also to also chip in that fund that will help, among others. So there are different possibilities of raising funds.
Okay.
But the idea is we don't want that fund to be managed anyhow. So we are not in a hurry. By the way, it doesn't mean that we're going to implement it in January. It has to follow its due process.
What is it? What timeline are we expecting for implementation?
No, because you see once we are, it has to. Next week we are likely to send it to AG chambers. When it's going to come out from that end, we don't know. For legal advice, they have to ensure that what we are saying makes sense as per the law.
Yeah.
I don't think January is feasible.
So no, we are not pushing. We have to do it right.
Let's get it
You see, as I told you, also for MDI and so on, I don't belong to that school of thought that is Prof Gomez. I'm working on systems. Even when I'm not around, I'm not able to complete, but the groundwork is done. Whoever comes in will continue from there. Because it's about the country.
Yeah.
When you are dealing with national affairs, you look at the national agenda, not individual agenda. So we are not rushing. If we finish in January and we got all the resources, it's fine. But if we are to finish the end of 2023, that's okay, so be it. But we have to ensure that we do it right, and it must be participatory.
That's right. Finally, Esa, we are on time.
I don't think I have more to say.
You don't have any more to say?
Just to say it's a very big task.
Yeah.
Faraba has been a dream, even though I had my reservations since Gambia time. Choosing Faraba as the permanent campus, I had my reservations, and that I don't even like. But it's finally coming, but also with mixed feelings. Mixed feelings in the sense that I was thinking that there will be no modification for arts and science because we have suffered so much in UTG. You can't come and have another campus, another building, and try to say modify it to fit these people. I think they're very unfair to us. In fact, Arts and Science should have been the first campus, first building that should be ready for UTG to say, or higher education to say, Faraba,
I thought you said you didn't have much to say.
Huh?
I thought you said you didn't have
much, but I'm just passionate about it. So I think really, it's a dream that is coming.
Yeah.
You know, and of course, you know, we're waiting for the final campus to be delivered, the fully built campus to be delivered.
Yeah.
And I think they are saying that the money is there. So we're hoping that probably by end of 2023 year, by end of 2020 or 2024, everything will be done. We're hoping for transformation in higher education.
Yeah.
And that's something that, that's your mandate. And I hope that at least at the end of the day, even if you are not there, we can say, even if we cannot achieve that transformation, but the ground level, the ground level would have been done. You know, the foundation would have been set so that we can build from there. And I wish you the best of luck in your tenure.
Final message.
Well, thank you. Just to reassure him that, you know, Faraba, government is is investing. At the end of the day, when we finish everything, it's going to be more than 100 million dollars.
No.
Okay? That we would have spent on Faraba, on UTG, for the more than $100 million. So that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
So we are doing it in phases. By the way, I need to also have it on record so that tomorrow, since it's not mentioned, is the student dormitories. That one, we're going for a public-private partnership. Okay? That's the approach we are going to use. Because, you see, we are taking loans here and there, some grants here and there and so on. But sometimes you need to be very strategic with the people coming after us. So they cannot, because these things need to be paid after. So we need to be we need to strike a balance. So the position, government's position for the dormitories is to go for public-private partnership. We've now written to the consultant to do a feasibility study for that. And once that is done, we'll roll it out. And so right now, there will be no dormitories next year when they move, and they will be shuttling. But we hope very soon it will be done. And the TVET centers, as I said, that we are constructing, most of them will have dormitories and staff quarters. So that's what we are doing. And we are looking for other opportunities. By the way, it's not a secret, but let's just pray for us. You've seen that the president has received the World Bank team.
Yes.
You know, and you know we were in Washington. The president sent us to Washington. So let me just stop here on that one and say that we ask for your prayers and so that we continue pushing for resource mobilization. And there's a lot because you see when I was appointed, the president told me, you know, for this position, I don't want to appoint my friend. I don't want to my party militant and whatever and so on. I want action. I want action. So I saw what you've been doing at UTG, and I want you to continue doing that this time at policy level.
Yeah.
So when you see some of the things that we are doing is the mandate that we received from HE, and we just call for the understanding of the students and staff, because the objective, we are eager to serve them. But in the process, we might be making some mistakes.
Yeah.
We just want them to allow us to give us that little allowance sometimes to make mistakes. But what is important is the determination, our commitment to serve the Gambian people, to deliver Faraba, you know, and to stop this long extended, contracts and so on and so forth on Faraba. You know, that's, stop it once and for all is our ultimate objective. And that's the reason why I said even the second phase, we told them January for them to start the construction. So when they are moving, they would have seen also other work started for other faculties and so on. And the School of Medicine, we won't talk about them. You see, they don't have enough space in Banjul and so on. We want to now build a faculty of medicine and allied health sciences at Faraba. We don't have resources now. We are working on the proposals and going for resource mobilization. And it's also part of we hope next year we will be able to really do something, get the donors to get support in that regard also. This is all geared towards addressing the needs and aspirations of the University of the Gambia. But I understand, so when they talk, it's where they're coming from.
Yeah.
See, even me, I might go back again to the classroom.
Yeah.
So I don't want to go back to UTG and be struggling there and say, I had the opportunity to fix this and I did not do that. ESA knows our discussions and so on. So, you know, this is the my conscience. I want to be useful to my country. And when I finished, he said he did not have it 100%. But he did his best.
Yeah. He did his best. And that's why a lot of people had hope when you were appointed. And we just hope those hopes are fulfilled. Because when you were appointed, me and so I remember when we were doing the analysis, and
now, you know that day I saw him on campus.
I saw him on campus
When I was coming to your house to do the analysis, I saw him and he was even, you know, mocking. And then all of a sudden I had the announcement. So I called him and I was like, okay, so you knew this and you did not tell me.
But yes, but then the excitement and the hope and what people saw the professional in you, and just hope that will be effectively done in this ministry, this very crucial ministry. We wish you all the best. And you continue to be my favorite minister. I keep saying that to ESA and all others out there.
Be my lawyer against ESA.
I am definitely going to be. I'm always going to be. Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you.
We appreciate you. Thank you, ESA, to the technical team and all of you watching. Good night to you all. See you next week. Bye-bye.
And stronger as the sole ground operator at the Banjul International Airport. With an expansion in travel services, customers are assured of GIA's capacity to cater for all their travel needs, provided by professional, experienced, and ever-smiling staff. GIA's Hajj package and services, by far the best in the country, give the customers the opportunity for a memorable Hajj experience. For a more efficient cargo services, GIA means business as it launches its new multi-million-dollar ultra-modern cargo complex to revitalize and stimulate air transport. GIA, the pride of the Gambia.
Every day is a new opportunity to make sure our first impressions are always our best and to see possibilities on the horizon. To make our facilities and services more accessible and find freedom all around us. With a location proximity to active markets, with a liberal air transportation policy. That daily pursuit is how we turn everyday opportunities for you. For all destination marketing support, customized packages for new existing airlines and operators, and for a highly ranked tourist destination, the Gambia Civil Aviation Authority is here to serve. We regulate air transport, operate and manage BIA technical requirements, merged with commercial considerations. We have experienced and well-trained aviation professionals to cater for your needs. For investment opportunities in building airport hotels, shopping malls, playground for children, do contact us on 4472-831, 4472-893. Gambia Civil Aviation Authority. We go beyond daily.